as accountability. All right, so let's call the meeting to order. 7:02. And so the beginning part of our meeting is on our agenda, the public hearing. We do not have anybody in public hearing, but this is the time that we would offer the public to ask any questions they have about the draft budget, kind of get any clarification that anybody wanted. Do you have something you wanted to say, Caitlin? No. Okay. You pushed your chair back, so I thought you were going to say something.
I just couldn't see you.
Oh. So, not seeing anybody in the public, I do think that we will move on. Do we have any, we do have it in our agenda later on to vote on it. So, maybe we'll just give another minute or two in case somebody is coming in late. I don't want to not allow time for the public hearing on the budget. So maybe we'll give it another 2 or 3 minutes and then we will move on. Do people feel comfortable with that?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So let's just think happy thoughts for a few minutes. I know. Listen, I still had to kind of somewhat dig out on my today because I just hibernated for the last few days. So that may be other people's feelings too. Okay, so not seeing anybody, we'll go ahead and move on. Next on our agenda is the approval of minutes from January 20th, so I need a motion and a second.
I move we accept the minutes from January 20th.
Second.
Great. Is there any discussion on them? No? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Wonderful. All right, we have the warrants. Caitlin, going forward, I don't know if this is something that you had Robin do differently or how it happened, but if we could just have the warrant chart embedded in the agenda like it had been,
Okay.
it's just easier to find it.
Sure.
But we do have some warrants. We have payroll, food service, elementary, and secondary. You can find those under the number 11 Director of Finance and Operations Report link. If you just click on that, they pop up. It's just easier for us to see them in the agenda. So I'll make a motion to approve payroll warrants 116, 117, and 118.
Seconded.
Any discussion?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then we have food service doesn't have a warrant number.
I just put it in. It's 1028.
Okay. Warrant number 1028. Yeah.
I'll move to accept warrant number 1028 for food services.
I'm sorry, were
Second.
you? Oh, okay.
I'll move
All
it.
right.
Yeah.
Good, thanks. All right, so all in favor of that?
Aye.
Then we have elementary. I'll make the motion. Elementary budget. Warrant 1027 and 1029.
Second.
Any discussion on that?
Nope.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
And then we've got secondary. I'll make the motion to accept the secondary warrants 11, 12, and 11, 13.
Second.
All right. Any other discussion on those? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
And we do not have any gifts or grants at this time, correct?
Correct.
Caitlin? Okay. All right, moving on. We do not have a report from the Gil Montague representative because we do not still have a representative still. We are still looking for somebody, so if somebody is interested in taking that position, please contact Brian Smith at the town hall. The Franklin County Technical School report was sent to us via email. The representative couldn't be here tonight. Let's see. It's my children forgetting I have a day job. Let's see here. There we go. I think the big things on the tech report were the budget. I know that the superintendent was at our joint meeting, a week or so ago when we met. I can't remember when that was, to discuss the budget. So that is, he goes around to all of the schools and presents the budget. So that's in process. And then there is another, the final meeting for the discussion about the proposed new building for the new school. It will be on May 6th at GCC, and the vote to authorize the project is on October 6th. So anybody interested in learning more about the proposed new building for the tech school, I encourage you to attend on May 6th at GCC. And then we will be voting in the fall on that. All the 19 member towns will be voting. They've also finished their lottery, so that has been completed. Students, I'm sure, will be notified whether they've been accepted or not in the coming days, if not already. So that's exciting, getting ready for next year.
Can I ask you to send me the agenda? It seems to have disappeared again.
Sure.
I can share with you.
Okay, thank you. All right, so Collaborative for Educational Services report.
We are working on, for the collaborative, the onboarding and negotiations of the new executive director, and Our last meeting was postponed due to snow, so we'll be meeting instead of yesterday. Next Tuesday will be our next meeting.
Okay, thank you. Regionalization update.
There's been so many missed meetings. There's been just snow and then too many people out, and it's so that meeting is next Thursday. No, there's a meeting tonight actually.
I'm so sorry.
Put
You
yours
can
on that
answer.
side.
You can answer it if you want
Yeah,
to.
you put yours on that side.
There's a meeting tonight. Obviously, I'm not in attendance, so I'll get the report on that. Not much to say. They're doing pushes and trying to get stuff moving. So.
Capital Planning Committee update. We will have some votes coming up in our under new business that relate to capital planning. I know the superintendent, the principal, and I met with the town capital planning committee to discuss some of our requests. So we have a plan for those. Is there anything else that any of the rest of you guys on the committee want to talk about?
I think so.
Okay.
I wondered if the tractor worked today.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Did the tractor work today?
So they use
Or yesterday?
Or yesterday, yeah.
snow blowers, is my understanding. 'Cause the tractor really only going to move about 6 inches at a time, and so it was it's a long process. But they used the snow blowers predominantly to get most of it out of the way first, and then came in with the tractor with what it could do.
Great.
At least they're new.
Yes, the snow blowers definitely are helping.
All right, so we're down to superintendent's report.
Okay, well, it is linked in your agenda, but just a couple of things to highlight. We have started some open houses. We've been working across the union with Children's Network Director Gillian to coordinate open houses for both pre-K and K at all of the union schools. And it's really in response to feedback from families about, especially in pre-K, needing to make childcare arrangements, and so being able to have them earlier, which is consistent with a lot of our neighboring districts. So a preschool open house was held here on February 11th, and the kindergarten open house is going to be on March 11th. Some things that Beth will talk about, some upcoming things. We are rolling out our new social media platform, and it is going to be a information only. We won't be receiving comments or that sort of thing, but it really is part of our efforts to improve communication and also make sure that our communication is ADA compliant. So we're doing a lot of work with our website and things like that. So you can like us on Facebook at Union 28, Erving, Leverett, Shutesbury, New Salem, Wendell. And just a couple of legislative updates. Massachusetts Secretary of Education Patrick Tutwiler has resigned to take a position as the Educational Director of Walker Therapeutic Educational Programs. Governor Healy has named Salem School Superintendent Stephen Schreich Jr. as the new secretary. He will start in March. And Bill S2870, an act to provide a sustainable future for rural schools, sponsored by Senator Comerford, has been referred to the Committee of Senate Ways and Means. And so we encourage all support to your legislators about getting that passed.
I just have a quick question about the social media piece. Do you have a procedure in place for who posts on that? And
So right now, all posting is going through the central office. So principals and teachers would send it to principals if it is something they wanted posted. We're trying to keep it pretty informational, but to make sure we have a good balance. So, for example, I came to the math night here, and I made sure I highlighted that. I also highlighted at Swift River their outdoor gym class. So we're trying to make sure that we're just talking about the things that are happening. It's really about positive PR, and also when we have weather delays, updates like that we can just put it on. But we don't, unlike some pages where you can comment, this is really just for information.
Sure. So it's more things across the whole union versus Irving
not-
having its own platform
Correct.
to use.
Right now it's right. That's how we're rolling it out, and whether it will go into that. Many of the schools, Irving uses Class Dojo a lot. Swift River has a Swift River page, so everybody sort of has their own thing. But this was more when there is to promote an understanding of what even the union is. So right now that's how it's being run, and it's the inaugural year. I'm sure it will change based on needs, but we're rolling that out and starting with Facebook. And it is something a lot of our younger families get a lot of their information through social media. So that's our first toe in the water, and so far so good.
Is it a public site or is it a private, like
Nope,
a closed
it's
group?
It's a public site, and that's why we're not allowing comments.
So if I go to Union 28, blah blah blah, which
Yep.
is down there, and I go over to, and then just copy and paste that over to
You
Facebook.
could, and
I
you could
go-
like us. You could be like,
Right
I
at
don't
the
know, our
moment.
30th person. Maybe you're gonna be a prize winner.
Okay. All right. Very neat. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you for that. So we're up to, let's see, the Director of Finance and Operations.
Okay. So I'm going to start with school choice. The FY27 preliminary cherry sheet estimates came out a couple weeks ago. Now that Erving Elementary is a school of choice, we are accepting students from other towns into our school. We are expecting to receive $38,000 in school choice receiving tuition. I would like to see this account grow in the first year, and when we begin budgeting for FY28 in November, the school committee can decide if and how much they would like to use from the school choice revolving fund to support the budget.
Can you just stop you
So your question
Sure.
about that. So when you say 38,000, are you talking about the current school year's worth of school choice children will generate 38,000?
Yes.
Okay. And so I want to assume what are we projecting for next year's class of school choice students?
That would be a better Beth question.
We have one student who will be exiting out of sixth grade that is school choice, but we are going to need to bring in a fair number of kindergartners. We are currently sitting at an enrollment of potentially 4.
Yeah.
So we're going to need to try to find 10. So that the school choice numbers should go up because the kids who are already here would remain, and we're going to look to bolster that class just because 4 is not a healthy number for a kindergarten. We'd like to have it to be closer to 14 or 15.
Sure. So if we you have not heard differently that anybody other than the graduating 6th grader is leaving. So the other
Correct.
school choice people, the assumption is they're staying
Yes.
for the following year.
Yes.
And so we're looking at around 33,000 just right now that we know of for next year, correct?
Well, we received
Ish.
the funding so 38,000 is projected for FY27. So then next year's school choice numbers would affect what we get for FY28.
They're a year behind.
Right, but I'm still doing the math. I'm still trying to determine what we're gonna get. And you're saying, again, just to be clear, that 38,000 is what we will have received for this year's current school choice people, which we will get next year.
Yes.
Right, but we can. I hate to use the word bank on, but we can
Reasonably
project
assume.
that we will get at least 33,000 for next year's group based on the kids that we have now, correct?
Yes.
Which we will receive the following year, right?
Yes.
So we already know that we're going to have 38,000 in the bank at the end of this year, or, when it gets dispersed next year. I'm trying to be not get too in the weeds about the years we get it. And so you're saying that you want to see, in essence, 2 years worth of school choice monies, or are you saying start using next year's 33,000 in our budget?
So I'm saying the 38,000 we're projected to receive next year, we grow the revolving account.
Well, we won't get 38 because one's leaving, so that's why I'm saying.
No, we're gonna get the 30.
Year.
Yeah,
So
we will get
next
the
year's
30.
numbers are we were receiving 38, but based on those numbers is what we would receive for FY28.
It's in arrears.
Yeah. Okay. The elementary and secondary budget for this current year is looking pretty good. There have been some changes for special education placements, and that will, as we get further down the year, we haven't used much of our circuit breaker money. That's usually, I think we're budgeted to use about $125,000. We'll use that for the areas that we need it more. So I think we're budgeted to use $80,000 towards secondary tuition, $22,500 for secondary transportation, $20,000 for contracted services at the elementary level, but we'll probably shift the usage of circuit breaker based on some changes in special education placements at the secondary level. But it is, when our secondary budget was pared down last year, and we're pretty right sized right now for what we need for the secondary budget. We have there's not a lot of unexpected costs besides special education, and so it looks like we'll end the year with around $35,000 remaining. And we'll use circuit breaker to make sure that we're using it in the time frame that we have to, and the areas that we're going to use that are kind of based on those changes.
So I noticed in line 40, the sped transportation, we're negative $89,000 ish. Not 89,000, 8,900. Is that because we had somebody decide at some other point to change their transportation, or
What caused that?
why was that not budgeted to what we actually needed?
I think we had some changes, and those are one of the lines that we'll probably use circuit breaker for instead of the secondary.
I know we've had some students who have moved in who have needed transportation. That is part of their educational plans that we wouldn't have been able to budget.
You mean moved in, the group of kids that just moved in like a couple of weeks ago?
Without wanting to identify them too specifically, yes.
Okay, recently. Let me just say that. So not at the beginning of the year. I don't want to know when they came in.
Yeah.
I just want to know that it
During
wasn't at the beginning of the
this
year.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're saying that's
I'm
what's
saying it
caused
could
that
contribute
overage?
to it because I just know that Beth and I have been having those conversations.
Okay. I just want to make sure that this is accurately budgeted for, especially going forward, because because I don't want that line to run into arrears. I understand that we have some money that we can backfill with, but I would prefer that we budget so we don't need that.
But kids coming in the middle of the year.
Right. If that's the reason,
Yeah.
then that's fine. That's totally reasonable. And then again, the custodial salary line, I want to make sure that that has been addressed so that we again don't go over in that salary line. So 45, line 45. I mean, the year's not over yet, and we're already $8,600.
But the existing salaries, I mean, that was due to some of the summer works. These existing salaries are all encumbered, so it shouldn't, that line shouldn't go further under from what it is.
Okay.
And the budget for FY27 reflects using the summer custodial support in that line, so it has increased for that.
Okay. Those are the two questions I had. Anybody else?
I'm just looking to make sure. I don't see any.
Can I try to rephrase your question because I still didn't quite get the answer. I've been thinking of this. So the 38,000 we're getting next year.
Go ahead, because
Here we go again.
It's a very convoluted state system.
My question is next year when we're doing the budget for the following year, are you recommending that we don't touch that 38,000 then? And then continue on to the following subsequent year when we will get 33, so that when we do finally get to that account, we'll touch 72 versus the 38 and the 33 in separate years.
I'm suggesting that when we go into budgeting in November,
Yeah.
that we start to have a conversation about how we want to use school choice funding, because having the first year of it build that revolving fund, I think is a great idea. And after that, we do want to use it as a resource to fund the school, and really what it's meant for is to support the students that are school choicing in, that we're having more resources for the school because we have a larger student population. So I will, when we talk about it in the fall, when we budget, I'd like to kind of
To include it into
yes.
there. The way
Yeah.
I thought you were saying is that you didn't want to touch it for like 2 years.
oh no, just the
and I'm
first,
like,
just next year.
okay, perfect, love it.
Because they pay us a year behind.
Yes, I got all that. And so I was like, how can I word this? The way it was phrased, it sounded like you didn't want us to touch it for 2 years, but I think it's just because we don't get paid for every other year.
Yeah.
Like,
And schools that have school choice revolving funds typically have a couple $100,000 in there.
Okay.
If the school committee wanted to build it up to it's a substantial amount, and we can use it for one-time things, emergencies, and that would that would be the school committee's purview on that.
Yeah.
But typically we do use part of what we take in to help support the budget.
thank you.
And finally, the FY27 budget, which had a preliminary adoption on February 9th before our Erving Select Board FinCom Capital Planning meeting. Still stands, there's not been any changes, so a 1.54% increase to the elementary budget and a 4.8% increase to the secondary budget, and that is due to changing special education populations. We were, as students move on to secondary, those expenses move on to secondary as well. And it is still February, so you could choose to do a final adoption of the budget tonight, a vote. You could also wait until your March meeting. I think both are within the time frame of what we would need for to meet the town meeting timeline.
I was noticing that our increase was smaller than some of the other towns. And I was wondering what that said about us as a school or school committee or a town. And it was,
You want to address that, though?
Yes. So I think I just talking with Shannon and Caitlin and then listening to what you all have talked about, I very much believe that it was important that we took seriously how we spend the financial support that we get from the town, and that we not look to just overspend. The town is very generous to the school, and I wanted to be this. Shannon wanted to be. Caitlin wanted to be that we were only spending that money with which we really felt we needed to run the school effectively and to meet the needs of the kids who are here. And so, the negotiated COLA was 3.5. We were able to make some pretty significant changes within other areas of the budget that allowed us to only go in with a 1.54. And I think that felt like we were right size, similar to how Caitlin said they were right sizing the secondary budget. I'm working with Caitlin and Shannon to work to right size the elementary budget as well, so that we're being better financial stewards.
do you think it's going to stay this way in terms of increases, or are there things that are put off that are then going to hit us in future years?
So there are capital projects that we need to discuss,
No, that's
but that's different.
Operating
The operating budget, I believe strongly that we can continue to move in this direction.
thank you.
With the caveat that we never know what's going to happen with special education expenses.
Absolutely.
True.
Take the
Yes.
words right out
Sorry,
of my
you're right.
Yes.
And this is also a building that has some space for population growth. And should that happen, the budget would reflect that. I can't anticipate that, but I know there's, I've heard talk of developments going in, and if that brings in more students. But I think we have been trying, as Beth said, the three of us have spent a lot of time going line by line, which is something I know last year it was really difficult for Caitlin and I to do, because you need a principal who really knows what that line looks like in the building. I'm the superintendent, and I know, I can give you a general idea. Caitlin is the finance person. She doesn't know what that looks like in a building, and to be able to have a principal here who could really sit and go line by line and make sure we did a lot of changing about, that program hasn't been here for a long time. Well, I wouldn't have known that last year. Caitlin wouldn't necessarily know that. And so trying to make sure we have a more accurate operating budget of what is really going on here at the school, if that makes sense.
So I really appreciate you doing that. I think that is something that's been not happened in a lot of years recently. So I really do appreciate you kind of looking at what is really needed versus just what would be great to. That being said, I do still think this is a very healthy budget. We certainly by no means have cut this to the bone, so I don't want anybody in the town thinking that's the case. This is still a very, very generous budget. And I still think there's places that we could continue to really look at and really decide if that's really something that we need to have. We also now have the I'm going to call it the gift of school choice. I know school choice is very can be very a difficult conversation because we are pulling money from another district. We have been gifted with the ability to have some school choice slots, so we also have that pot of money at our disposal in not this year, but in the coming year. So if we needed to pull some for some, what I feel like is we have lots of pots to pull from that we can continue to really look at this budget and really, get it down to what we need versus kind of just adding percentages onto every line, which has happened in the past. I am in no way saying that is what you're doing this year. So I appreciate the work that's been done to try and really look at it and decide what's really important and what we want to keep and what we don't use and don't need. So I'm hoping that, you will continue to do that coming forward. But I feel very comfortable with this budget as far as we are in no way, shape or form cutting it to the bone or making things not be able to happen with this budget. So
one other thing I'd like to throw out there, and that is we keep talking about choice, and as I read the papers or the tea leaves, whichever, choice seems to be coming up increasingly in the area with schools wanting to make more use of it than they used to, it seems to me. So it's a more competitive situation and going to become more competitive, and I hope we can, as a school, keep on our game so as to continue to attract the kids. Even though we're, taking kids from other places. Anyway, as I say, I think that the school choice situation is going to heat up a little bit, it seems to me.
And it's not that we don't also lose kids to school choice. I mean, we often, not I wouldn't say often, we sometimes have kids that leave in 6th grade and they go off and they become school choice because they leave us in 6th grade. So we've seen it on both sides, certainly. Again, though, we are in the wonderful position of not needing school choice to run our school. There are lots of schools that have to depend on school choice to balance their budget, and thankfully we're not in that place. So for us, it's a luxury to have school choice come to us. So the only thing I will say is, do we want to entertain waiting one more month to vote on this, simply to give anybody else a chance to? I'm a little disappointed that nobody came for the budget hearing part, but also maybe that's a great sign that people are very comfortable and don't feel they need to ask questions. So I can go either way on it.
Well, I was thinking, do we just want to wait to have Dan as the next meeting?
That's true too.
I think we are all comfortable with what the budget looks like. I know I am, and we say that we're not scraping the bones, but we're also not doing the other end of that. We have, it has been gone through meticulously and over, and we're not asking for, increases that are not needed. So I think we are all comfortable with that. But I think maybe we should wait 1 month just to give Dan the opportunity in case he had some epiphany of some change of something that we should all hear.
What are you feeling about that?
I was going to say let's just go vote on it.
So I'm gonna say I would vote. My vote would be to side with Kelly in that we wait until 1 more month, just in case there's anybody else that wants to ask questions and to allow Dan to be here. So you would be outvoted. Do you feel really strongly about that? Or
No,
you're okay
I
with
mean,
that?
I just looking at it and feeling like we've gone around on this and we've discussed it in numerous ways, and we should just go with it. But I can appreciate that, and I can read the tea leaves and see that it doesn't matter what I say.
But I think it will
You're gonna
be
be
a
halfway.
quick vote next month.
Oh, yeah,
Because
absolutely.
unless Dan has something or people show up, I mean, it doesn't impact our timing.
Yeah.
With this one being a little bit, pushed back a week, we're meeting again in 3 weeks.
Yeah. Okay, so let's do that. So we are going to just table this until the next meeting, and that's when we will have
And
our.
all 7 of you out there that are watching, bring that up if you have concerns.
Our final vote will be on at our next school committee meeting. Great. All right. Is there anything else, Caitlin, or does that
Nope,
conclude
that's
your?
it.
Okay. We are up to the principal's report.
Hello. So, thank you very much. We are, I have your enrollment numbers. We are now at 115, up from the start of the year at 108. We've had enrollment increases in kindergarten, and first grade, and fifth grade. We have some new pre-K students in, so we've had children come in, and actually in third grade as well. So we've had kids coming in a variety of grades, which is great. The pictures listed here are actually from our math night. We had our first night ELA evening in the fall. We had 20 kids, 12 families. We were very excited about that. Math was 30 families and 42 children. So a pretty significant increase. You can see by the pictures, there was a lot of games, a lot of activities. The focus was on ways that parents could engage and support their math learner at home in fun and authentic manner. We are really excited about that. Our next night will be, for our curriculum nights, will be in April, and that is science. And so I'm hoping to get a big turnout for science as well. I want to introduce the literacy vision for Union 28. There's a few more math night pictures seen here. Big class full of people. It was really exciting for the second and third grade. But a team has worked diligently all year, and this literacy committee has put together a literacy vision for Union 28. I'm just going to take a quick minute to read it into the record. Union 28, we empower all learners to build their literacy skills through experiences that balance joyful learning with productive struggle. We use evidence-based approach to engaging, challenging, and providing equitable access to all learners so they can become skilled readers, writers, speakers, listeners, and critical thinkers. In partnership with our communities, we immerse learners in literacy experiences integrated across all subject areas. We meet each student's needs through strong instruction, purposeful use of data, and targeted supports. And so this is going to be the guiding vision for us as a union surrounding literacy. And you're going to be seeing this. It's been going out to my staff the last several weeks. It's going to be going out to our families in coming weeks. We wanted to present it here first before we put it out to families, though. We're also going to be sharing it with our kids so that they have a really clear picture about what we are attempting to accomplish on their behalf and with them as a partnership. going. I'm really excited that the January ended with Stars Above Science Education. This was tremendous. Every kid from pre-K through grade 6 got to go into the inflatable dome here, and we got to do work with the curriculum standards for science education. And it was an absolutely amazing experience. The woman who ran this, and her name is an educator, her name is Lama. She did an incredible job of tailoring the standards to what each grade level is expected to learn in science education. And I was in there with the pre-KK kids, and for half an hour she showed them how the moon moved through the sky, and they were in how the stars evolved through the course of the evening. They were entranced. It was incredible. The 5th grade was in there, and they dug deep into the phases of the moon, which is a big part of the science curriculum and expectations that 5th grade is supposed to be doing. But every grade got an opportunity to go in and learn about it, and the reception for it was tremendous. The kids absolutely loved it. That's all they could talk about. And she was thrilled with the quality of questions that our students asked. She really felt like they were just engaged in a way that she was pretty impressed with us as a school, and I was really happy to see that. So we have some additional pictures you can see here. Obviously, these are mostly pre-K because I was the one taking it and I was in there with it. And she's talking about the way the Earth moves around the sun to those pre-kindergarten students and kindergarten students. And you can see little hands going up, and they are ready to learn about that. So it was wonderful. I was thrilled to be able to use which is actually a local cultural grant that resulted in us having access to this. So it was a wonderful experience, and I'm very thankful we were awarded that. Additionally, we are beginning our partnership with Spoons Across America. So we applied, and we were granted 3 of their 5 curriculums. And the first one I'm going to be talking a little bit about is the Beginning Food Explorers. One of the books that comes with the program. All the materials were sent to us, which is great, but I will never, not ever eat a tomato. And what you see here, I collaborated with Donna LeClaire, our head of cafeteria. She and I sat down, went over all of the food restrictions and allergies for our students, and we separated out a variety of fruits. And so beginning next week, children in grades pre-K, K, and 1, as well as our STARS program, will get opportunities to try all of the different fruits you see here. They, as I said, were separated out so that we have a student you happen to know in pre-K who has a coconut allergy, so coconut's on the kindergarten menu. We made it really clear that we were going to make sure the kids who, couldn't have something were it was a safe location for them so that they weren't being exposed to it. But this is a great opportunity for them to be exposed to fruits that they may not previously have had the opportunity to do. There are books. I actually worked with the materials that Spoon Across America sent us and created some follow-up curriculum sheets that the kids will use. They're going to be able to assess what they feel, what the taste, the smell, what it looked like to them. They'll do some drawing, they'll do some writing. Kids in grades K and 1 are going to be expected to write sentences about the experience, so it augments our writing program. And I'm really excited about that. Additionally, for our kids in grades 3 through 6, we have a 12-week cooking class on Wednesday afternoons from 1:15 to 2:30. On last Tuesday, emails went out to all of the families that their children for the children who were accepted to the program. The head of my cafeteria will be running this, and she'll be teaching them how to cook. This program encompasses children, a variety of children, all of whom are really excited about this opportunity. And over the course of that 12 weeks, they're going to be learning about everything from, on the farm and at the market, and they're going to connect that to what types of foods are available at what time of the year, the different types of tastes that you might see. I don't know what umami is, but the kids are going to know, and they're going to teach me about it, which is nice. And they're going to be able to, at the end, after 12 weeks, cook a meal in our kitchen for their families to come and taste and enjoy. We had grant money that we were awarded because we had done something. I don't know what we did, but we had gotten a grant money, and we're going to use the grant money that we had gotten awarded as a kind of a good job sticker to pay for the food that goes along with this. So I'm really excited about it. And as I said, our head of cafeteria, Donna LeClaire, is a tremendous asset for us as a school, and she is doing this with us. So she's going to be both going into our classrooms in pre-K, K and 1, and also working with our 3 to 5. You'll note there isn't something for grade 2 right now, but that's okay. We're hoping to get into the next round of the second grade appropriate curriculum, and maybe next year we'll be able to get that as well. That just wasn't one of the ones we got picked for. So I don't want to kind of create my own. I'm not that good a cook. But I'm really excited about this opportunity, and I'm thankful. You can see here some samples of things that they'll be doing. So they're going to begin with a taste adventure, talking about don't yuck my yum, talking about the elements of taste and the adjectives, which I think is great because when they're writing about with juicy adjectives, it gives kids a real chance to be able to understand what writing looks like when you're being a lot more deliberate about the words you choose and a lot more descriptive with those words. These kits that were sent to us, they have the bag, they have a series of books, they have something to cook with, they have a bunch of materials, these safety knives that evidently cannot cut skin, but I do have plenty of staff there to make sure they can't cut skin. As we move through it, they're going to be doing bread coming to life, and they're going to do the science of bread making in week 3. In week 6, they're going to talk about food advertising and do you buy it or, maybe you avoid it. I'm hoping to avoid a number of really unhealthy things and talk about why Takis are not a good purchase for anyone. There is, as you note here, in each of these weeks, a family newsletter that will go out to our families so they can follow up at home. They will have a choose your own recipe adventure in week 11 that builds on making their family their meal and celebrating in week 12. Yes.
That sounds really cool. I was reading that in your report, and I was, wondering how it all came to be. So that's really a really interesting program, and it'll be. I'm excited to hear how it goes at the end. Is this a grant just for 1 year?
Nope, the materials are ours, and the curriculum access is ours indefinitely.
Okay.
And then so it would just be a matter of we happen to have an award that we were given that we can pay for the food this year from it. It is certainly something that we will have to investigate how we pay for the food moving forward. But it's food only as the material. So I've been able to figure out a way to do staffing with Donna, and that's certainly great of her. But
these materials are ours now.
They're ours now, and access to the online curriculum is also ours moving forward.
And so the after school on Wednesday was open to grades 3 through 6. Did everybody get in that wanted to get in, or was there
So initially it was only open to grades 4 to 6. Yeah. And then we decided that we had 2 extra seats. All kids were able to get access to it. It also includes one of our STAR students. So we are really excited about that.
So you didn't have to turn anybody away. You're
we
saying
did not,
the number of people that applied, there were
correct.
seats available for them.
We were able to get all students who applied into the program, which I was happy about. And we did say to some of our children that we are going to run it again next year. We'll kind of be a little bit more deliberate about how we want to fit it all in this year. But next year we'll kind of spread it out a little bit better. But having said that, kids know that they will have an opportunity if they did not participate this year. They could participate next year as well.
Yeah, I'd really love to see if we could figure out a way to get second grade looped in, either by modifying the third grade curriculum a little bit, or
So my hope is to reapply and get access to the 2-3 curriculum next year, and then I would be able to do something specific for grades 2 and 3. We only had 2 children in 3rd grade who were interested, and so we moved them into the 4 to 6 program.
I see.
We looped them up. But the reality is that I'd like to reapply in the fall and get access to the 2-3 program and then specifically have something for them that's more appropriate.
Do we know anybody else that's using this program?
So there are across the country of districts all across. I am not aware of anyone else in Massachusetts
Oh, really?
who is engaged with this program. So we
Okay.
are the first. They were pretty, which I think part of why we were able to get access to 3 of the 5 right away is because that partnership is something that they are looking to grow.
Okay. Yeah, super exciting. And look, knives, just like scissors, are safe when used properly. So
Yes.
I encourage the use of them.
Yes.
I'm glad to see that.
Yes, so am I. Our MCBA Library Night is the 4 schools. It is coming up next Friday, March 6th, so a week away. We are very excited about being able to host this year. So this is an opportunity. Kids have been reading all year, and they are thrilled about being able to be here. The cafeteria is going to be serving foods that relate to the books they've been reading. So we are thrilled to be hosting. And certainly you're welcome to come and see what's going on that evening.
If you have not been to one, I really encourage you. The level of collaboration and the work that goes into this, I was struck last year. And last year it was hosted at Swift River. It rotates every year. And it's a really great time.
And from the kids side of it, the kids are so engaged. They're so
Yeah, it's a great.
involved and running around and having a good time and splitting the group, so they're meeting new people and yeah.
It's a wonderful evening. So I'm excited about that. I also want to make sure you're saving the date. Friday, March 13th is our reintroduction of our school play. The play is Toy Story, The Great Crayon, and Slinky Dog Rescue. As I mentioned before, Slinky Dog accidentally gets left in Mrs. Sem's room over the weekend, and the toys need to invade Erving Elementary to save Slinky Dog. We have 41 of our 115 students that are participating in some way. 25 are going to be on stage. The remaining students have been a part of the art department, and they are doing all of the sets, costumes, props. So it's been wonderful to have so many kids actively involved. And then we had a delay in our last school council meeting, so we were going to be discussing the proposed capital projects and what budget decisions that get made at the next meeting here at our next meeting when we meet as a school council. So.
Have you advertised the play, or are you advertising the play in the March Around Town, the town newsletter?
Yes, so it has gone out in the Around Town. It's also gone to Shannon to be a part of the Facebook page. I'm going to be sending a copy to Brian, and then of course it's been going out to our families to encourage everyone to come that evening and celebrate the return of the play.
Wonderful.
So
Is there a list of like old teachers that used to be involved that could get sent a listing that it's coming back to? Or do we know of a list that may exist somewhere?
I would have to dig a little deeper. It's my understanding is it's been since 2000. It is the last play was in 2019, and so it's been quite a while. So I will have to talk to Pat and see if there's a way to dig into that. But, yeah.
I just know I ran into some teachers and they've asked about it. No, I'm at school.
I'm very excited. 6 p.m. March 13th. I have memorized my line, so I am ready. I am in a great stretch. I am playing the part of Principal Gannon.
Wow.
Yes.
Get into character.
I'm getting right into character there. Significant stretch.
All right. Any other questions? All right. So next on the agenda is the report from the Erving Educational Association. There is no report that I'm aware of, so we'll keep on moving. A report from PI. I did not get a report emailed, so we will keep on moving. Budget and Personnel Committee report.
They have not met.
I was going to say I didn't think they had met. Joint Supervisory Meeting. Our next one is March 16th. and that is virtual. We do not have any old business, the new business. So these are the capital requests that we we're looking to have fulfilled by the capital planning committee with the town. And so we want to make sure that we take a formal vote so that it's really clear that the entire school committee is in favor, if we are, to move forward with these requests. So the first request is for the new tractor. That was talked about a little bit. Beth, do you want to just give a quick overview about the tractor?
So my understanding in talking with Glenn that the tractor should have been replaced, I guess, 5 years ago. It is now, its ability to do what it needs to do has decreased to the point where it requires multiple passes, so you can only do about 6 inches of snow push at a time, which means that you're going to, we unfortunately are expending a fair amount of money in overtime to our custodians because they are clearing using the snow blowers and not a tractor.
Sure.
And it's predominantly used for the the removal of snow, which this winter appears to be an everyday problem.
Yeah, it has been quite impressive. So I know the capital planning, and again, jump in at any point, but I was at this meeting, so I can speak to it. That we partnered with the highway department, Glenn, to the highway department supervisor, Glenn. And he worked with his vendors to get us a quote on a new John Deere tractor. He got us the model number and what would be appropriate for the school, and was able to get us a quote. It is a lot of money, but it is what it is. Tractors are expensive. And so on his recommendation, we moved forward with looking at this particular model and looking for the capital planning committee to approve it. So did you want to add anything else to that?
No, we just have to vote on it
Yep.
and say, yes, we all are in.
So this was voted on at the subcommittee level, but we just want to make sure that it's clear that the entire committee is in favor of this. So we're going to go ahead and do a whole vote now for it, so it can keep on moving on in the process. So does anybody else have any other questions? We can make a motion and a vote, but
I have two. Do we have the total cost of the new tractor?
Our quote was just shy of 60,000, so we put in a request for 60,000.
and that comes with a lot of implements and things.
Does it come with a snowblower attachment? Like, does it have a PTO?
I think that was
shaft
part
and
of
snowblower?
the
Okay.
Yeah,
Would be a plow.
Yeah.
a plow.
It's a plow.
Plow attachment, like a
Yes.
just a bucket attachment. Doesn't have like a.
I can look
Not
up
my
the-
background.
It doesn't have
Pledge.
it doesn't have a blower, in other words.
Doesn't have a blower. It's a plow.
An auger. It
Got that.
is that what you're asking
Yeah, I
about?
just didn't know if it had like a PTO shaft in the back to like hook a plow, like a snowblower into. to, like-
Oh,
I believe it does have a PTO shaft, but I do not believe one of the implements is the auger, like you think of a snowblower. It has a plow and it has a bunch of other things with it.
So I've got it up right now. The tractor itself is 54,000, but then 7-foot boom mount in front blade with manual angle for current. That's the something series carrier.
Okay.
Allied sundown spreaders. Yep. And
Can you post that around to us?
what?
Can you share that around?
Sure, I can send it to you all. This is just the quote, and then quick hitch something. Factory installed loader with bucket. Oil line. Allied ballast. I'm a little out of my element if you can't tell.
Yeah, again,
Oh
this
yeah,
is
certainly.
It's got all the bells
Yeah.
and whistles.
and again, this is the one that Glenn said was most appropriate. I know there was a conversation with Eric, right? Everybody was kind of in agreement that this is the right piece of equipment for us. So so that's what we came up with. So again, so we'll need a motion and a second to move this further on in the process.
So moved.
Okay, so all in favor of that capital request to buy the new tractor? say aye.
Aye.
Wonderful. Okay. Second request is for the new playground. So, again, it was determined that our playground is not broken. There's nothing it is not, it is usable right now, but it is past its useful life. Everything has a life, and we're past it. There's some, the padding on the ground is broken in places. It just needs to be replaced. And so the town is also doing a playground replacement, actually 2 playground replacements, Zielinski and Bettsfield, I want to say might be the other one. And so we're looking to have our project be done at the same time, hopefully, as theirs, to have greater buying power with the company that's going to come in and do the playgrounds. It's a bigger project, so hopefully we'll get a better price on it. So we are looking to have that completed in conjunction with the other playgrounds on that timeline. So again, it's something that the Capital Planning Committee, our subcommittee, voted on, but we want to make sure that everybody is aware that the entire committee is in favor of it. So we're looking to vote for it here.
I move to accept the furtherness of the playground.
Great.
Second.
Wonderful. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Okay. So now those can officially keep moving on in that capital request process. All right. So we have some policies to review and update. We have a second read, first vote on AC non-discrimination policy, including harassment and retaliation. So again, we've read this now twice. We're taking our first vote. This will come back again for another vote. Those on the policy committee, Mark, I'm looking to you. Do you have anything else you want to?
We didn't meet tonight.
You did not meet tonight. Okay. But as far as this goes, is there anything?
No, there was nothing else to say.
Okay. All right. So we'll just need then a motion and a second to vote on this policy.
I move to move that on to final vote.
Yeah.
Yes. To do so.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Wonderful. All right. And then we have a couple of final votes. So GBED, tobacco use on school property by staff members, prohibited. Policy GBGF, family and medical leave. JICFA, prohibition of hazing, which also will be JICFA-E, hazing, and JICFB, bullying prevention. This is our final vote on these. We've had them now a couple of times to take a look at. Is there anything else we need to say about these?
Nope.
I noticed that a lot of it is just simply updating language to
Right.
current.
Most of it is just that there's been some MASC updates, usually linking new mass law and things
Yep.
like that. And
Yeah.
so it's just updating. There's no substantive changes.
Yeah. All right. Great. Okay. So this is our final vote on all of those. We can take them individually or we can take them together.
I move we accept all 5 of them
Yep.
as a group.
Okay.
Second.
Wonderful. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
I'd like to add one comment to the policy group. Since we weren't all there at the time, but I did want to bring out that we have been mostly just updating things on other organizations' recommendations to keep them legally the same. I wanted to put out just the thought that maybe there's something going on, or maybe there's some policy we need to create in the school that would be a new policy. I would just like us to all think about that, and if there is some area we can start the ball rolling, or check through the library of policies that MASC has, and just see, is there something else we need to do, or something new we need to pay attention to.
I definitely was thinking about that when I was reading about the new social media, the Facebook page, that down the line we may need, if we're going to have an Erving only Facebook page, we may want to think about our social media use policy updating and or adding to to talk about, who puts it on there, what's the process, all of that sort of thing. So it's a good point to make, that we should always be thinking about other things that we need to, more than just kind of changing the boilerplate language to meet the needs of Erving. So
A few years back we did add several in response to teacher fundraising and so forth.
well, we just did the therapy dog too. That was a new one.
And then the therapy dog is also a new one.
Yeah.
I do
Okay.
think MASC is a great starting point, though, because they do have a lot. I mean, it's part of what you pay when you walk, right?
Yep.
They have counsel that vets it, and so I think if we have new things, we should certainly loop.
Oh,
loop
for
them
sure.
in, because we're probably not the first one that ever did it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, if you had a thought,
Sure.
if you have a think about the thing, if you have a thought of an area, you should look in the library and that they have online and see if something has been created, and or that could be adapted or
Yeah.
would fit.
Could be a template to use to make it what fits
Yes.
for here. Sure.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to move into executive session. Before we do that, I just want to point out that we do have our policy committee meeting next meets on March 17th at 6:30, and our next school committee meeting is March 17th at 7 o'clock. Again, we'll be back on to our regular third Tuesday of the month at 7 p.m. Excuse me. We are going to go into executive session to discuss a topic. In the event that we decide to vote on it, though, we will come back out to open session to take the formal vote in open session. So most times we say we're not to come back. This particular time we're leaving open to potentially coming back to take that vote. So does that make sense to everybody? Okay. So in accordance with open meeting law, GL Chapter 30A, Section 21, we're going to make a motion to move into executive session to discuss the deployment of security personnel or devices or strategies with respect thereto. So that's a motion I've made. I need a second.
Second.
Okay, so we will roll call vote out to that. We will be returning to open session, either to take a vote or to simply say we're not taking a vote, and we will end open session at that point. So either way, we're going to come back. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So, go ahead, you can start.
Sykes, aye.
Bailey, aye.
Latchley, aye.
Okay. So we will leave here. Move into-
Mackenzie, who do you need in open session?
So I will need Beth and Beth, are you feeling like we need the superintendent to be in there? No. Okay.
Ready?
Well, okay. I just gotta make sure everybody's ready.
Oh, we gotta be.
Yeah. Just let us know when you're all set. Okay. All right. So we're rejoining the open session. We are here to vote on what was discussed in executive session. So I will make a motion that we proceed with the project that was discussed in executive session and send it on to the capital planning committee.
I second that.
Any discussion? Looking at you.
Nope, no
Okay.
discussion.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. All right. So that concludes our school committee meeting. We will now make a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
Wonderful. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all for staying, and we'll see you next month.
I don't need these papers.